And before we begin this broadcast, let's quickly tell you once again, if you have any concerns, if you want to raise your concerns, if you want answers to some health-related questions or queries that you have, please do write into us on the Twitter handle, India Today, with the hashtag Delhichokes. Raise your concern, that's the Twitter handle on the screen right now, and the hashtag Delhichokes. We'll be sure to incorporate your concerns and ask them directly to a doctor we get on board every morning at 9:30 a.m. trying to decipher what is your problem and also trying to offer the best possible solution. Does Delhi choke you? Are you concerned about your health? Write into us. Now, a thick blanket of smog continues to engulf the national capital as pollution has now become a major hazard for the health and well-being of residents. Particulate matter 2.5 that penetrates deep into the respiratory tract and cause harm to the lungs remains high in several areas of the national capital. However, this morning the level of pollutants have dropped in Anand Vihar and several other areas of East Delhi. But in South Delhi, the posh South Delhi, these 2.5 particulate matter levels are alarmingly high, alarming. All right, joining us this morning is India Today's Anusha Soni. Let's find out where she is at this moment. She'll also try to speak to a few people. Lodi Gardens, fantastic. Anusha, from the report that was filed by Anindo yesterday, we could see a thick smog blanket right behind him. It looks a lot better, I must admit, today, the frame in your background. Just speak to a few people. How concerned are they?
Absolutely, Sanket. I mean, compared to yesterday, it's a little clear today morning, and as you said, I'm standing right outside Lodi Garden with some joggers here. I have none other than Dr. Sunita with me. She is, I found her jogging here today in the morning, and I must mention that she's the former Asian marathon champion. And let's get in a word from her that, ma'am, how does this pollution in Delhi concern you? You come here to jog every day?
Pollution is there, no doubt about it, but coming here in the morning every day for last 30 years for 3 hours at least, I am slightly away from the pollution because we get fresh air. The day it's breezy, we get fresh air, but sometimes, you know, because of in the garden also we have this problem, pollution problem. But what I feel that if this problem is there, don't just remain inside the house, come out, do some exercise so that your immune system is so strong that you can fight it out. Right. Because some experts are saying remain in the house, don't come out, but then you can't live without coming out from the house. So we exercisers every morning do something to bring up the immune system so that we can fight it out nicely.
Right. And ma'am, Delhi government has also recently taken a lot of steps, even on car systems and other things that they are planning. What do you think about that? As a resident of Delhi, that's working for you? Do you think that
See, this odd even car is very, very confusing. Like if somebody has to go to school or college every day, professor or teacher, it means they should not go one day, because first, before starting this, they should have done something for the transportation system. And like this lane, you know, we have 3 lanes in road. Why not first lane should be faster lane and no slow vehicles should be there, so that at least traffic jam for the fast lane, like Singapore. Yeah. When they copy Beijing, China, Singapore, then they should go and see that what kind of transportation system is there. No slow car, no slow motorcycle, or say any cycles for that matter can go on the first lane. Right. That is only for the fast lane.
Right. So ma'am, despite the smog, you will continue jogging in Delhi?
See, I am continuing. This pollution problem is for so long, but then I feel that we are better if we are doing exercising, because the immune system is better. We can fight it out.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Sanket, as you can see, at least for Dr. Sunita, the smog doesn't deter her, and she's asking Delhiites to come out, jog and boost up their immune system to fight the odds.
Then in that case, Anusha, my advice to you is that please take off that microphone and that earpiece you're wearing and go off jogging inside the Lodi Gardens. Thank you very much for this broadcast. Let's now quickly turn to Dr. Surinjit Bhattacharya. Remember, we have a doctor on board each morning who will be taking in your questions, your concerns, and trying to address them as far as they possibly can. Let's load question number 1 for the doctor. The question that we have got today is, how harmful can taking morning walks be, oh so well timed, for the elderly when pollution level is so high? Doctor, if you heard that question, what is the solution that you have in mind for that particular question? Let me just quickly repeat the question for your benefit. How healthy is a morning walk for the elderly if there is a thick blanket of smog outside?
No, see, if there is a thick blanket of fog and smog outside, obviously it's not the best of times, best of things to do. But if you exercise, see, exercise is an important thing that you have to continue. And I would agree with the previous speaker that if you stop exercising, your lungs, and see, once you exercise and all that, your lungs have a better capacity to fight out pollution and all that. So you should not stop exercising, definitely. We have to look at controlling the pollution. I would still advise that we should do the exercises. We should maybe do some deep breathing exercises, yoga and all that, which will help the lung capacity to increase and fight out the pollution as well. So I would definitely advise, but yes, maybe a bit of caution, and over a period of time we should definitely be able to control the pollution. Otherwise, in a long term it is a problem. But I would still not say that you should not exercise, because exercising would improve your health conditions otherwise.
Absolutely, doctor. Now let's take in another question that our viewer has sent. Let's roll that question. Delhi Chokes is our campaign. This is question number 2 for the day. Does Delhi's pollution reduce life expectancy? Interesting. Doctor, what is your word on this? Does it reduce? Does the air quality? By how many years has a normal healthy person been set back? Dr. Surinji.
See, it all depends on how much exposure you have to the pollution. Because what will happen is, suppose you are an asthmatic, or suppose you have a bronchitis patient or a cardiac patient, you are prone to, your lungs are prone to this pollution, and you might be having more attacks of breathlessness and desaturation of oxygen and all. That might even take you to the hospitals. You might catch an infection, and obviously once you are infected and you are an elderly person, you are more prone to have a higher morbidity and maybe mortality. But yes, over a period of time, it all depends. It is not a static value, but it depends on how your basic health condition is. But if you are an asthmatic, diabetic or a cardiac patient and being exposed to pollution, you might have a respiratory infection, and maybe you might have a respiratory failure, which can lead on to mortality as well.
All right. Dr. Surinjit, many thanks for joining us this morning. You have answered these 2 questions that our viewers have sent. There will be many more over the course of the next few days. Thanks very much for joining us in this morning broadcast. Now we are shifting focus to the people who are actually working on solutions. How to solve this problem? Running away from this city is not actually going to help, is it? So in this series, we have concentrated on a number of factors. We have concentrated on the fact that whether you should be wearing masks. So we found out that there is only one good shop in the national capital, that is in a prominent mall in South Delhi called Select City Walk. So if you want a good mask, you will have to go all the way there. We have not learnt anything from the China story, where China has decided, the government has decided to sell these masks at each and every local shop. The next thing today that we are concentrating on are these things, devices that you see on your screen right now. Air purifiers. Anindo Banerjee, India Today's Anindo Banerjee now brings you this presentation on how effective these air purifiers really are, and can they solve your problem.
Smog. Thick, invisible smog. Lately, that's the skyline of India's national capital, thanks to the severe level of air pollution.
Anindo, I have been coming here for the last 30 years.
Right, sir.
And the level of pollution that has gone up is terrible. The fresh air is not there. The breeze is not there. Only thing what we have is smoke, smoke and smoke.
The air outside may be dirty, but more and more people are turning out to the different air purifiers for their home, schools and even hospitals. There are many technologies available in the market, and people like him are getting used to terms like HEPA and carbon.
In Delhi, the people were not aware of air purifiers, but due to the recent years, we have seen a mark change in the market. Around 50% the market has increased in air purifiers.
This is the HEPA plus ozone technology filter, and this is the HEPA plus carbon filter. On this side it's carbon, this side is HEPA, and this is the electrostatic filter that has come, that will go inside this, and then it will go inside the main body of the air purifier, which is on that side. This is the main air purifier.
And then there are people like him who provide a 360-degree solution to Delhi's air woes.
We've done over 2,000 homes in Delhi. We've done large schools like the American school, APJ schools, German school. We're doing large buildings, malls, hotels, offices across the country, not just Delhi. Because the problem is not just a Delhi problem, it's a countrywide problem.
Basically, they customize the best air solution for anyone who seek their consultancy. But the question remains, with prices ranging up till 80,000 per unit, how many can afford those machines? Well, he has a cheap but green solution for you.
So many brands in the market, and the exorbitant price they charge, there's little chance that most can afford such machines. So what do? This is a natural way. These are snake plants that emit only oxygen and cost a humble ₹700. This is your natural way to clean air. New Delhi with Pratap, Anindya Banerjee for India Today.
Also, these air purifiers come in various shapes and sizes. From 3,000 rupees through the course of this production, we actually figured out there are as costly as 1 lakh rupees. And they will only cater to one room. So, I mean, that's too much money for a common man to actually be spending on just cleaning one particular room. And also, it does not give you a guarantee of clean air the moment you step out. Now, let's shift focus to China. Now, this odd-even formula that the Delhi government seems to be working on is something that has been implemented in Beijing. But what did we learn from the Beijing experiment? We learned that it's not just an implementation, not just a new law, but it's strong implementation that actually made some amount of difference. Let's see this particular story, this presentation on what lessons can we learn from a very similar formula that was tried by our neighbor.
As the Delhi government moves to introduce restrictions limiting vehicles with odd and even number license plates on alternate days, a similar system in China's capital has been cited as one reason why the system may work. Yet experts in Beijing say what works in Beijing might not work in Delhi. Beijing first installed an automatic surveillance system to implement rules with cameras automatically monitoring and fining violators, a feat difficult for Delhi to achieve at such a short notice. The Chinese capital also built extensive subways and public bus networks. Beijing's current restrictions are also less harsh than Delhi's proposed policy. Cars are limited only one day every week, with no limits on the weekend. Beijing's subway this year has crossed 600 kilometers and will double the length of Delhi's.
China's capital, Beijing, put in place an extensive automated surveillance system to monitor traffic and built one of the world's longest subway systems before introducing the measures. And that, experts say, is perhaps the biggest difference between how Beijing and New Delhi took forward the measures. Reporting for India Today in Beijing, this is Anand Krishnan.
Let's now cut across live to China, where we are joined in by India Today's Anand Krishnan. Morning, Anand. I believe you're not in Beijing at this moment. You have come to some other part of China in pursuit of some story. Was Beijing air so bad that you had to slip out? The fact that there is a national alert there?
Well, Sanket, it wasn't a bad time to move out of Beijing, but Beijing is in fact now on day 2 of its 3-day red alert, which lasts until Thursday afternoon. So it's been an extraordinary set of measures that the capital has put in. It's a...
Oh, we seem to have lost that connection with Anand Krishnan. We'll try going back to him once we are able to fix that line, but he was making an interesting point, and we would have in fact spoken to him about how the China story on odd and even formula was actually successful. It turns out that it is the strong implementation which made all the difference, and people were not actually wondering whether it is good or bad. They realized that they have to act now.